Hello, Tarot fam. Welcome to Super Read Saturday. This is going to be a little bit longer of a read for you guys so you can enjoy while you're drinking coffee in bed, having a lie-in, or while you're folding laundry, which is probably what I'm going to be doing. So we're going to be talking about Katy Perry today and the tour that she's currently on. There's been poor ticket sales. There's been technical issues. There's been awful reviews of the tour, and we're going to take a deep dive at it. So let's take a look right after this. All right, you tarot maniacs. So I'm going to be using the Madame Clara 5-cent tarot. I just feel like this is the deck that Katy Perry would pick if she got a reading from me. We're going to see what is up with this tour. Now, I do want to remind you guys, I'm doing a past life regression group session tonight. There is still time to sign up for it. So click on the link down below if you would like to join us. We're going to do a guided meditation into one of your past lives that is significant. And then we're going to have like a group discussion about it. So it is a limited engagement. So only a few people can be in there. That way I can give everybody attention and we can have a really good conversation without having like a whole crowd talking. So if you'd like to explore one of your past lives, hit the link down below. We'll get to it. I also still have time this evening for private reading. So if you'd like to book a private reading with me as well, click on the link. I have lots of sales going on this month. So let's talk about poor Katy Perry. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know that I am not the biggest Katy Perry fan. I do love Jeff Goldblum though. Coffee. So I'm not the biggest fan of hers. I love her song Fireworks. I did a remote view on her and it was very disturbing. I did not like it. This is not Schadenfreude. I am not excited that her tour is not doing well. I love her husband, Orlando Bloom. Yes, Legolas. I am a Legolas fan. Let's take a look at just kind of the energy check-in on this. All right. So I'm going to bring up the card view. Please hit the like button as you will. And I'm going to make this nice and big so you guys can see well. What's the current energy of the tour? Everyone that's on it after this whole Minneapolis kerfuffle, the show started, I think it was 2.5 hours after. 9 of Buttons, Queen of Needles, and King of Cups. So unfortunately, it looks like there's a lot of action that is locked in. They are really stuck. The 9 of Buttons is a good card in the sense that it shows we're well protected, but it can also be very, very locked in. Remember, when I read cards, I don't read them just upright and reversal. There are 3 meanings upright and 3 meanings in reverse. So I am getting kind of the excess of this 9 of Buttons intuitively, meaning that she's more locked in than protected and secured, if that makes sense. 9 of Needles here, I do think that directives are being given out and that they're being refused, which is a little bit upsetting because that means we can't. The last thing you want to say to someone when things are not working is, we can't do that. No, you don't want to have the word no in your equation. And it looks like we're getting some no answers here from possibly the production of the tour, possibly management. We're getting some no's. That is problematic for the tour itself. Now, I did see in one of the internet publications that the internet is kind of going for the throat of Katy Perry. So the public perception versus the reality. Let's take a look at that. Here's how the public is seeing it. This is through social media. gossip, innuendos, those channels. And what's the reality of this tour? We've got the reality down here. Perception up top. 6 of matches, not successful, not moving forward, disorganized, and also needing kind of repair at this point. So this is the public perception through social media channels, public opinion, innuendo, that kind of thing. What is the reality? The reality is repression, the moon in reverse, knight of buttons in reverse, and the devil in reverse. There is not a cohesive executive team and practical team, so production team. I am getting that there is a disconnect between the people that are funding and financing this tour and the people that are actually running it. I don't see that they're able to provide the funding that they need to actually make some corrections here. This devil in reverse, I think some heads are going to roll on this, guys. I think we're going to get rid of some people. Can it save the tour? One card. Can that save the tour? 5 of buttons. It will help them get back on track. It is the 5 of buttons or 5 of pentacles in reverse. It's getting rid of the negative individual who is really kind of creating a difficult spot here. So, all right, excellent. What's Katie's personal energy at this time? Where is she emotionally? And I know that there was some discussion about her dancing at one point, but it's supposed to be like a video game theme. And so, when you think about it, pixelated, that kind of thing. So where is she? 3 of cups. Oh, queen of buttons. She's very upset about this, guys. She really does want to do whatever she can to preserve her reputation as an artist, as a person. She's really trying to do that. The 2 of needles, she does not know which head needs to roll. 3 of cups, not real happy about this whole thing. Not really happy about the whole thing. So, what a shame. What a shame. I'm trying to be nice, guys. I'm trying to be nice. All right. So what went wrong? So what's the real cause behind the low ticket sales? There's some less than expected ticket sales. And we saw the same thing with the Beyonce tour. Apparently the Beyonce tour, there was all kinds of crazy stuff where people had bought tickets for hundreds of dollars, and then they saw better tickets later on that were for sale for less than what they paid. Like, there's a lot of drama. So what is the real cause behind Katy Perry's low ticket sales? We're going to do 4 cards here. 4 cards. The 4 corners. 1, 2, 3. Well, this isn't the nicest thing that I've ever said. A lot of artists, writers, actors, musicians, strippers, there's an expiration date on when you need to stop. Now, I'm not saying that Katy Perry had a baby and, should give up being a pop star, but you have to remember that your fan base grows up too. And if you don't necessarily grow up with them, then you sometimes run into trouble. You will see less in terms of sales. I think that the formula that she has been using is not appealing to younger would-be fans or intended fans, the demographic that would intend that they think are going to be her fans. And I think her fandom has grown out of the product that she produces. So, yeah, the bloom is off the rose. Was the Minneapolis delay a logistical issue? Was it really a technical issue? Huh. Was it an emotional issue? Yes. Yes, I think Katy was very upset. Did it start with a technical issue? Yes. So we have the start of a technical issue that changed the itinerary of the show, and that resulted in her being upset and a further delay. So this could have been a much smaller delay. She was very upset. It's kind of like she hit the wall. This nine of matches is really hitting the wall and being like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. This is the pile of Mount St. laundry that you're still doing laundry at 3 o'clock in the morning. You're like, I just can't do another load of laundry. That's really what we are looking at here. She hit the wall. So that's unfortunate. I'm going to do a yellow brick road for her at some point during this reading. She'll get a yellow brick road. So, are the bad reviews honest or part of a PR smear or part of a backlash? So, bad reviews, are they honest? PR smear or backlash? Honest. 8 of needles. In reverse. I mean, that really is saying, the product being produced is just not up to snuff. It's not the taste of the day, let's put it that way. The entertainment du jour. PR smear? No, not necessarily. I really do think that PR wise, people wanted this tour to be a success. They wanted Katy Perry to have an amazing tour. The people behind it, I think they did want her to really succeed on this. What about backlash? 3 of Cups? Not necessarily. I think, I don't think there's a lot of people that are out to get Katy Perry. So, how much of it is Katy's fault? How much is management's fault? How much is production's fault? Katy, management, production. Katy, 7 of matches. Management, 8 of buttons. They're doing what they need to do. And then production. Production seems to have some issues. I think they may have gone with a less astute production company for this. I think they may have had to make some changes with that. And that could be with set design, that could be with lighting design, all of that kind of falls under it. And I think that is kind of the problem. The presentation is the subject matter, again, not really appropriate for the prior fandom and the intended fandom. Yeah, I think we're in kind of a weird spot here. I think we're headed to a Las Vegas residency for her. I do think she's headed for that. So we'll see. We'll take a look at that. What was Katy hoping to express with this tour and show? What was she hoping to express? Now, I do think that she was somewhat cognizant of her historic demographic of fandom. I think she was going for the video game thing for nostalgia for I'm going to say our demographic. I think it's kids a little bit younger than me or individuals a little bit younger than me. But they've almost been like, the millennials, they've almost been they're jaded now because they're out in the real world and they realize that life is not a video game. They're still borrowing money from their parents. They're still living in their parents' basements or on some kind of exchange with their folks. I think that that is part of the issue. She tried to create this um escape of nostalgia, but at the same time, you're kind of like rubbing someone's face in it, going, this is a huge production. It's excessive and exciting. Um, Sorry, I can't afford the ticket, that kind of a vibe. And I think she really was trying to bring that demographic, that fan demographic back to a really fun time of, bubblegum and music and bright colors and flashing lights. And they're just almost too jaded at this point, too cold of heart to accept it. Um, and this award for everyone demographic, they're not falling for that banana in their tailpipe anymore. They're just not doing it. She took a chance on this and it did not work. It didn't land. It didn't land with that demographic. And that, oh, is it that she was simply out of touch, or is the economy and what it's done to her fandom? Is she out of touch? Yeah, somewhat. Does she not understand that her fandom is kind of drowning? Yeah. While she offered a respite from the toil of their lives, the fact is that it was really almost an impossibility to get them there unless the ticket prices were really, really low. So, we have that issue. That issue. All right. All right. That's unfortunate. So let's take a look. So is the music industry playing a role in the tour's difficulties? We already said, I think the production company, the production team is less than capable. And I do think that that is because of financial issues, but let's see if we get more. What is the issue with our production company here? Judgment, dependence, self-doubt. So we've got judgment in reverse, the sun in reverse, judgment in reverse, sun in reverse, 5 of buttons, 5 of needles. Remember, our 5s are chaos. They are chaos and kerfuffle. Empress in reverse, ace of matches. So I think that we have an issue of being under budget, and continually being under budget. Does that mean they didn't spend a lot of money on this? Or I should say, they need more budget. Let's put it that way, not under budget. I think that they did not. They invested too much in the hardware and not enough in the software, meaning the people, the soft, mushy part of people. I don't think that they did that. I think they got less people than needed. No, that's not to say she doesn't have a tremendous tour. I think leadership on this tour is somewhat lacking. I think there is one particular person on this tour that's like, yeah, I'll just take it. I'll just take this tour, just do it. Make some money. Katy Perry, whatever, which is Katy Perry's a huge name in the industry, so this shouldn't be like, well, I'll just do that in the meantime until the next tour takes off. But it's someone who's a little bit jaded on this tour, and some of these road dogs do get jaded. I met plenty of them with my ex-husband. They do get jaded. They sometimes have to work for artists that they don't like. They have to work for artists that they can't stand the fandom. There's a lot that goes into this. So I think that there's some leadership issues here. keeping in mind these 5 of needles, I do think that they're trying to get an individual back on board, that has worked for them before. I think they're trying to get a Hail Mary guy in there. I don't know if that's gonna work. I don't know if it's gonna work. There is growing discontent with this Sun in reverse on the tour. People are they're kind of dragging their ass to the end of the tour. And I will tell you this, the first Family Values tour that I went on, no one wanted that tour to end. It was really fun. A lot of great bands, a lot of great production on that. Super fun, super crazy, had a great time. So I do think that we have some issues with the production team there. And I don't think that management is giving them a lot of money. Is there any sabotage or manufactured bad buzz about this? Is there anybody passing on that information? Oh, yeah. The Sun says, oh, yeah. Is it coming from production on the tour? Empress in reverse. This is management. This is her agent. So I think production on the tour is not happy. I think her management is not happy. I think they're going, we kind of overshot on this one. But her agent is like, what are you talking about? She's amazing. So I think we have that going on. I want to stress, guys, that sometimes with a performer like this, they, even though they are at the top of their game at one point, they become a pawn of the system. How is the current public opinion of Katy as an artist versus a celebrity? Now, we all know she is an astronaut now, and she was quite odd on that space flight. What is the public's perception of her as an artist versus a celebrity? Artist here. Celebrity, which is very fast becoming a dirty word. Artist, King of Buttons, Ace of Buttons, Ace of Matches. The perception, the public perception of her as being a fantastic artist. Yes, she can perform. I know there's that little scene of her dancing, and she is supposed to be dancing like a video game. So, everybody, it's not that she can't dance, it's that, she was doing something neat. And by the way, the glitch when she on the last tour where she had the eyelid thing, I think she was doing that on purpose. I'm just going to put it out there. I don't think she's a robot or anything like that. But I do think that they see her as an artist, but not moving with the times. She's still doing the same old with this Ace of Buttons rather than Ace of Matches, redefining herself. And like Madonna evolved over time and always tried different things. This almost feels like it's more of the same Katy Perry. They're just kind of fashion plate putting a different top on her, a different costume on her. So as a celebrity, now again, celebrity is becoming a dirty word in this world. So Knight of Cups, celebrity, she wants people to like her. 10 of Matches, it's a little bit too much. The springboard is her artistry. Launching into celebritum with this space flight. The space flight was supposed to be a pump for her tour. She had that little butterfly. It had the set list on it. Very cute. Held it up in front of the camera. But then she got out and kissed the ground and had a daisy for her daughter and gave a statement after that seemed a little disjointed. I think the celebrity part of it is just kind of sit tight and keep doing the music thing, but evolve for us. Make some evolution for us. Has the Katy Perry brand been damaged by her space flight and by the production, the product she has given with this tour thus far. Has her brand been damaged? With the space flight, 5 of Cups. Ooh. Yeah, it was a bad look. It was a bad look. This the space flight, all that whatnot was a bad look for her. Katy, don't do that again. You're not an astronaut. How about this tour? 3 of Cups, stagnation with the Death card in reverse, and the Hermit card. Kind of pigeonholing Hermit card in reverse over here. She's kind of pigeonholing herself into the old form of Katy Perry, where she had, the swirly mints on her boobs and, lollipops everywhere on stage. We need to see something different, something a little bit different. I would like to see her do like a true Vegas style performance where she comes out like a showgirl. You can be all kinds of bananas, and have a sparkly red dress a la, what's her name? Jessica Rabbit. And, big headdress, and you come out and you can do your songs. You don't need to have quite the kind of production. She has a good voice. She doesn't have to have, quite the stage production. She could do that all with costumes and dancers and whatnot. But I sense that we're going to get, and I'm going to do Futurecast. Saying it right now that I think we're going to get a Vegas residency out of her in the next year or two. I think she's going to switch over to Vegas for a little bit. We'll hang out in Vegas for a little bit. Not a bad place to be. So is Katy still passionate about touring and performing live? Is this kind of wrecking her? So we've got the Unknown, which is the 23rd card of the Madame Clara 5-cent tarot. There's a side of the box in case you guys want to see it. I got this on Etsy. You can get it on Etsy too for yourself. So, motel gift shop site. I think I do have it in the description of this video. So she knows that touring is part of the thing, part of being a pop star. Is she still passionate about this particular tour? Yes, she is ever the optimist right now. And she's really, really trying to be as positive as possible. Over here, she understands there's a lot of dysfunction. And here, 6 of buttons in reverse. She knows that this tour is losing money. So I think that her passion for performing live on this particular tour is not really coming through. I think she's trying to be an optimist, but the reality, those numbers are staring her in the face. Numbers aren't looking good. Our inner doubts and fears poisoning the tour? Are her inner doubts and fears poisoning this tour? Yes. 10 of cups in reverse, 6 of buttons in reverse, 10 of buttons in reverse. Yes, there is an effect there. Now, you can meditate all day long, but you got to get everybody on the same page. So if there are production people that are not happy about this tour, she's not happy about it secretly. She's trying to be positive on the outside. It just is what it is. We're just going to be stuck with what we're stuck with. So hopefully this tour will end soon. Oh, what does she secretly want from this tour right now? What does she secretly want? She want to keep it going? She want to see the end of it? Like I said, when I was on the first Family Values tour, I planned my first wedding from that. Everyone was having a great time. We didn't want that tour to end. I don't know about the artist so much, but everybody, all the accoutrement, I wanted to keep that tour going. It was really fun. What does she want? What does Katy Perry want? Does she want to keep this tour going? Does she want to see it through to the end? Does she want to just say, I'm good, let's call it a day? Five of Cups. It's a slog. It's a slog to the end. It's a slog to the end. She is trying to be faithful, but again, we're getting this 5-5. It is somewhat chaotic on this tour. There is problem after problem. When they resolve that, another one crops up, or the resolution causes a few more problems. It really is just not going well. This is not the best breakfast she's ever had. So, and I'm not laughing at her. I'm not laughing at her. So, she's going to see it through to the end. So, will the tour finish out as planned? Will it finish out as planned? Three of Needles, heartbreak. Huh. Will it be canceled? Wheel of Fortune. There is a destiny here. Will it be canceled? Queen of Cups. I'm saying Queen of Cups. We may see this tour cancel out. We may see some dates get canceled out. Are they going to scale it back? Scale it back. Three of Cups, I think that's what they're going to do. I think they may combine some tour dates. So you may have to drive an hour in the other direction to go see Katy Perry, but your tickets will be honored at the blah 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 arena or stadium or House of Blues. So will she rebound creatively after this tour? Will she rebound creatively after this tour? I think she's going to take some time off. I think she's going to figure out what caused all of this. I think that's really what she's going to do. And that's going to take some time. She will wish them well as they walk away. But those that advised her to kind of do the same. I think she's going to bring in different advisors, different creative advisors for the next projects ahead. This Knight of Buttons in reverse really does say that we're going to bring in some different creative advisors. I think we're going to see a changed Katy Perry in the next incarnation of her in this lifetime. I'm not saying she's gonna recycle. How are fans gonna remember this tour in hindsight? How will fans remember this tour in hindsight? They're going to see this as a struggle. Three of Pentacles in reverse, two of Pentacles, and Seven of Cups in reverse. So they're going to see this as kind of a calamity. Her true believers are still going to be true believers. They're going to stick with her. They're not going to falter on her. But they're going to see that it was not not everyone was giving 150%. Not everyone was giving it all. What lesson is this tour trying to teach her spiritually? What lesson is this teaching her? 10 of Needles. This is easy. Okay. 10 of Needles, 8 of Needles in reverse, and the Knight of Matches. It is 100%, 150%, 1,000% time for her to create a new version of Katy Perry. Talent, nonetheless, but we need to see something different. We need to see something not quite as cartoonish. She doesn't have to lean into the cartoonish production in order to be successful. She's got to grow with that base demographic, the ones that followed her when she was doing Firework and the Bubblegum tour. Can't remember what the name of that tour was, but she's got to grow up with them. She's got to identify with them, with what their likes, their needs, and their actual lifestyle is now. Again, the millennials are part of this demographic, and they're struggling to keep themselves above water and to keep themselves flush with cash. Some of them are great. We have influencers that are like throwing money all over the place, but the average person that listens to Katy Perry in their bathroom while they're taking a shower, blow drying their hair, putting on their makeup is not able to drop $1,000 a ticket, travel around the world, and escape from the reality of their existence that easily. She's got to find the middle ground. I do think Vegas residency. We're gonna look at that Vegas residency in a little bit. What is the long-term impact on her career from this experience right now? Not if she does anything different, but from right now. We're not going to look at any free will at the moment. What is the impact on her career right now? Ace of matches. Ugh. Six of matches. Eight of buttons. If she continues to walk this path, if she continues to ignore the opinions of her base demographic, she's going to falsely think that she's doing the right thing. Do more of that. Do more of that. It'll be great. She's not going to be able to keep a good fan base. So let's do a yellow brick road for her. So what does Katy need to do to correct course? I've already said she's got to grow with her base demographic, her original fandom. What else does she need to do? Oof. So we've got the Magician in reverse, 10 of matches upright, Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This is our suitcase position. We'll talk about that in a minute. We have the Three of Cups on the bottom. We have the Queen of Needles up top, conscious position, subconscious position, Two of Cups in the future. So what does all this mean? This is what she needs to do. She needs to understand that the old form is not fitting for new fandom. In business and sales, you want to make sure that you keep your customers. She needs to keep her customers by keeping her original fan demographic and moving and changing her artistry to match them. She's going to attract more people from that demographic. Don't worry about getting more kids in there that are going to be dancing in the aisles and whatnot. Work with the people that know and love you. Does this mean scaled down performances? Unfortunately, yes. Does this mean that a Vegas residency is something and I don't know if she's ever done one, but a Vegas residency, would that fit her a little bit better? King of matches, Five of cups, Nine of needles in reverse. I think I think a lot of performers that are used to performing in stadiums and having large scale productions, Vegas feels like the place you go to die. It just feels like you have to be older to be there. There's a great scene from the end of What's Love Got to Do with It when Tina Turner is doing a Vegas type residency, and they called her an old time performer, and she was like old time as she's walking out. But she had a producer that was in the audience and said, "Come on, let's go." And she had a revival when she was almost 40. It was kind of amazing. That was where I became a huge Tina Turner fan. Katy Perry needs to get that out of her mind. I know it's difficult to do a Vegas residency when you have kids, they're in school, you have a husband, you have a family, you have a fantastic home that you don't want to leave. She has several, but she's got to come to terms with the movement of her age, and she's got to really start to become more of a realistic person. Now, like the whole astronaut thing, can she do a space type Vegas residency? I think she could. The Alien song that she did, I think it was with Kanye West. Like the Alien song, it's one of my favorite songs by her. And if I know about it, it's a pretty big song. I think, with some time, she could do kind of an alien space kind of thing, and not have it be quite as over the top as this particular tour is at the moment, because the more you
that might upset her Illuminati benefactor.
You said the I word, Greg.
What?
You said the I word.
They don't even exist. They're not real.
You can't say bomb on a plane.
Bomb.
Bombardier. So Gregopedia has entered the chat. So
my idea.
What's that?
My idea.
This actually, yes, I do have to give my husband credit. This was his idea. He somehow is aware of Katy Perry having a not so great tour. So, are you a Katy Perry fan?
No.
No. Greg says no. No mints on the boobies.
What? She
had the candies on her boobies in the last tour.
Yeah, there's something weird with her, and that I probably shouldn't get into it.
No. I'm being very kind in this. But there is something like the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang about her.
It's like the candy, bright colors. Like, who is she attracting?
Lollipop.
Yeah.
I was so scared of that guy. So I think she does have a good shot at doing a Vegas residency, but I think there's a time of respite that she needs to have in between now and then. The chaos and conflict from this tour is going to extend into her personal life for a little bit. She's going to be wringing her hands about it. It is an escapable thing. She can kind of leave this behind her, but it'll be a cleansing process. One last question. Do we think she has another renovation, another renovation of self? Do we think she has one more in her? One card. Death card in reverse. She does not want to alter how she is. Katy Perry, I'm going to tell you, you got to do it. You got to do it. Ace of matches. You got to pull away from it. 8 of matches. Let's go. I am the messenger. I am the messenger here. Katy Perry. Loud and clear. 8 of matches. That is a message as well. But this sure was fun. Greg, what do you think? Katy Perry, Vegas residency, you think it's coming?
It could. Hopefully it doesn't get eaten by a tiger.
A tiger?
A tiger?
In Las Vegas? Maybe she'll favor the other leg. Well, guys, thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Again, I want to stress this was a longer video. This is Saturday Super Read. So I want to stress we have the Past Life Regression going on this evening. You can still get in it at the link down below, or you can book a private reading with me and get your own magical yellow brick road. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching, subbing, being members, all those things. I will see you guys very soon. Hope you're having a great weekend.